What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with another review for Reasonable Doubt, Season 2, Episode number 4. And this episode was titled Primetime, you guys. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then have me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, you guys, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of Reasonable Doubt, shall we? All right, guys, so this was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments, you guys. Like I said, overall, good episode. So the episode actually opens up and we see Chanel. So Chanel is, dreaming about, life with JT. So, in this dream, she was asking him to let her go, right? And he said to her, no, that she doesn't get the choice to leave. I'm like, excuse you, sir? She don't get the choice to leave? You must be out your rabbit ass mind that she don't get the choice to leave. Sir, F you and the horse that you rode in on, right? So then we see as Chanel, she went up, she grabbed the trophy, right? And she was just bamming JT. Bam, 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 bam. I was like, Chanel, baby girl, I think he done for. I was like, so this is how it happened. So I was like, so it wasn't self-defense. So then we move over and we see Spencer, right? So Lewis went to go pick up Spencer from school, and Spence, he's talking to Spencer about him auditioning for Hamilton, right? And Spencer, he asked Spencer why he keep it, to himself. And Spencer was like, well, he kept it on the low because it conflicts with basketball. And so Lewis asked him, so like, you finna quit basketball? And I was like, oh, so you finna be like this, Lewis. Like you finna have an issue with him leaving basketball to go and do a play. I was like, okay, I don't really like this. And Lewis is asking him, all the work we did. I just don't want this to be something that you regret. Why would he regret it if he wants to audition, it's not a regret. It wouldn't be a regret if he was like, I didn't like that whole comment from Lewis. I did not like that comment from Lewis. So we move over to Jax. So Jax is with Chanel. She's actually watching the interview that Chanel, the therapy session that Chanel had after JT's untimely demise, right? And so Daniel came in and let Jax know that, Jax let Daniel know when it comes down to Chanel that at this point, Chanel hasn't shared anything that would be useful towards her defense, right? And I was like, okay, that's not good. So then Daniel is saying he actually asked Jax, like, so what does Chanel say about the 30 million? Jax says, well, she says she knew nothing about it, which I absolutely believed that she knew nothing about that $30 million, right? So then Daniel is talking about the fact that Adrian, right? Adrian's been gone for 3 weeks and he just showed back up recently in LA, right? He also showed her Adrian's bank statement. I was like, I was like, so is this where we get the issues at? My God, that wind is whistling. My bad, you guys. So if you guys, I hope you guys don't hear it, but I think it's about to rain in my area and the wind is kicking up and it's whistling very loudly. But neither here nor there. So we see Jackson Court. So they're talking to the partners, right? And right now, the public perception of Chanel, it isn't there, right? They only have 2 weeks until jury selection. So Jax asked the question of how do we fix it? And so Corey thinks that, what they should do is they should do a primetime interview, hence the name of the episode, a primetime interview of Chanel. And Jax was like, wait a minute, sidebar with you, nigga. So Jax's whole thing is she feels like this wouldn't help them because if Chanel does the interview and some, she feels like the prosecution will pick up on every little word that Chanel says. And Corey was able to talk her into it, and Jax is like, you know what, we cool with it. So Corey wants for Jax to go talk Chanel into this, right? So we see as Jax is telling Chanel, who is reluctant to do this, but Jax was like, you know what? After talking, I think this is a good idea, right? So Chanel asked her, like, if this were you, like, what would you do? And Jax told her that, if this were me, that she would do it, right? And so Jax told her, this has to be about, you will be talking about the abuse, but also we want you to talk about how, why you even fell in love with JT, you know, when you got with him. And so that's that. So then this episode took us on a timeline of Chanel and JT's relationship. So the relationship, well, the first time that they met each other was in 2007. It was August of 2007, right? So we see Chanel. So Chanel was doing a photo shoot. So Chanel was working and she was doing a photo shoot, and it was a bunch of, other women in the photo shoot with him, but he managed to have eyes for only Chanel, right? So he went up to Chanel trying to kick it, spit his game at her, and Chanel was like, "I'm really not that interested in you." But he was able to then, convince her, like, "Hey, how about you come out to one of my games?" And she was like, again, not interested. But he said something to her that made her think, okay, maybe I will come, right? So then we move to September of 2007, and we see them in bed together. So we've actually found out in this episode that his daughter, that the daughter Natasha, is not his daughter. Well, not her daughter. It's his daughter with another woman. And he was like, he never really saw himself being married with kids. And so Chanel asked him, like, well, why didn't you marry your? But he said his daughter is everything, right? And so she asked him, why didn't you marry the mother of your child? So he says that, there were a lot of issues there. I was like, a lot of issues on your part or her part, or the fact that you probably were abusive to her. And homegirl was like, you know what, nigga, you only got one time to slap me and I'm done, right? So then we move on to October of 2007. So we see Chanel at a beauty salon and she's getting her hair done. And I was like, oh, and she was in Atlanta too, right? So I guess he must have played for an Atlanta team at some point. And so you guys remember earlier in the season, Chanel was talking about the fact that she switched her hair to keep him, thinking that it would keep him from cheating on her with other women. Girl, that didn't, yeah, no. So after that, we moved back to present day, right? And so Jax tells, Jax actually came in with the wig for her. And Chanel was like, no, girl, I can't wear that shit no more. Like, that's not something I can do anymore, right? But she did agree to do it in the interview. So then after that, we see Jax. So Jax is getting ready. The next day, we see Jax getting ready for the interview. And Lewis has something on his hand. So she asked him about his hand. And he told her about, what's going on. He said, it's fine, right? So then he asked about Chanel being nervous. And she said, she has to do everything to get her through it. And she asked him about Spencer, right? And he said that he's worried about Spencer not playing basketball. And it's like, but if that's what he wants to do, like, did you ever think to maybe ask your son, what do you want to do? Jax, however, thinks it's cool that he wants to audition for Hamilton, right? Because she said that little nigga ain't going pro. I was like, well, damn, Jax. So Lewis feels like it was time wasted. Again, did you ask him if that's what he wanted to do? If you didn't, then you made a fool of yourself and you made an assumption. So it's not on Spencer. So when she left, um, Lewis got a phone call about Spencer at school. So then we move over to Adrian, right? So Adrian is with the guy that we saw from last week's episode. So Adrian just got back from Jamaica, and this guy is the reason that he went to Jamaica, keeping him away from the press, avoiding questions and all kind of stuff like that, according to this guy. So then he asked him if his head is clear. And, Adrian was like, yeah, my head's clear. So the guy that he's with said, okay, but you didn't secure my $30 million. And he said, are you just fucking Chanel or did you fall in love with her? Right. So Adrian told him, be patient until the trial is over. So the dude slapped him. He said, I don't have a pussy. I was like, oh, wow. Because basically the man trying to say he's pussy whipped, right? And then the man pulled a gun out on him. So Adrian said, you know what? I can't get all of it today, but I can get you something. And so we see as Daniel is outside and Daniel is taking pictures of them, right? So we see Jax. So Jax is on the radio, listening to the radio, and on the radio, they're talking about this interview with Chanel and the fact that it seems like a Hail Mary for the defense, right? So Daniel called Jax to let her know that he, saw Adrian and, he's with some guy. He doesn't know who the guy is. He said he has a contact that's trying to get him the deed because when he tried to look it up on the internet, he couldn't find any information on the house, right? Now, we see Corey. Corey is talking to Tanya, who is going to be doing the interview. And you guys remember Tanya from episode 1 was the woman that he was banging out. And I've been looking at her for the last few episodes. I'm like, this woman looks familiar. Then it finally hit me today. That is the second lady on the Oval. She's a great actress because on the Oval, we all know how that is, neither here nor there. So Corey was talking to Tanya, right? And so the interview, that's who's going to be holding the interview with Chanel. And she's telling her feelings about it. I was like, Mama, you got to let it go. You got to let it go. So then we see as some woman, so Chanel, so the guards went to go get Chanel, right? And then there was a woman that was messing with her, calling her Pocahontas and asking her, like, girl, between me and you took that nigga out, didn't you? And Chanel was like, believe what you want to believe, believe what you want to believe, fake ass Miss Cleo looking bitch. Hollered when she called that woman a fake ass Miss Cleo looking bitch. So we get to the interview, and Tanya showed Chanel a photo of her and JT on a magazine, and she asked her if it was real or were they hiding things, right? And she said that she was always in love with JT. So then we move and we go back to 2010, right? So we see as Chanel, JT was trying to get Chanel to stay with him, right? And he told her that he wanted her, he wanted what the other guys on his team has, right? And so, hold on, you guys, just a second. All right, you guys, so we back. So, like I said, JT was talking to Chanel, basically saying that he wants what the other guys have on the team, right? And she told him that they're long distance at this point, right? And she's basically just telling him that they're doing the best that they can to make things work. And he told her things ain't working and basically gave her an ultimatum. But then he got down on his knees and asked Chanel to marry him. And I was like, okay. I thought it was in the moment. Here's the thing. What I will say, I can see that it did kind of look a little bit manipulative. If we're being honest with each other, it looked a little manipulative, right? But let me know what you guys think. That was the vibe I got. I got a little bit of manipulation vibes, right? So we move back to present day, right? So she's still in this interview with Tanya. And she said that she loved JT until the very end. So Tanya then questioned her about quitting her job after he proposed to her for security. And because and you got the ring and all that kind of stuff. So she's basically asking her, calling her a gold digger without calling her a gold digger, right? So then Tanya asked her, why did she hide the pictures and not turn them in? And so Chanel said, well, I didn't hide the pictures, right? She was like, I put those pictures in a safe deposit box in case he took me out. And she wanted people to know the truth, right? So then Tanya asked her, when did the abuse start? And she asked her, physical or emotional. So Tanya said, the physical. And so Chanel says, well, they started the night of his retirement party. So then we moved to January of 2017. So I guess this is the night of his retirement party because we see Chanel as she's cleaning up and she's asking him to help. And he was like, well, I'll take the trash out once you finish. I would have been like, look here, nigga, get your bald headed ass up and help me with this shit, right? So Chanel is pissed because she's taking care of him. their infant daughter and his other daughter, right? So he basically threw his money in her face and said that, he's throwing his money in her face. And she's like, JT, you know damn well I don't care about that money, right? He said, but you quit your job after I proposed to you, got you that ring. And so she said something to him. He said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He just kept screaming, shut the fuck up to her. So then he was texting somebody. And she said, JT, who are you texting? He said, oh, you want to see? So he flipped his phone around for her to see the woman who you can see all you could just see was her bare titties, right? And then this fool talked about her because earlier in the one of the flashbacks, Chanel was talking about how when she was in school that she was a chubby girl, right? So he basically body shaming her, talking about, yeah, you was a chubby girl when you was younger. And then he was like, when you had the baby, your body didn't bounce back. I was like, I know you fucking lying. Baby, I would have whopped JT, right? So then he pushed her up against the wall because she said, JT, I ain't one of your fucking groupies. And I was like, amen. So then we moved back over to Lewis. So Lewis had got a phone call that Spencer had got suspended for fighting. So Lewis asked Spencer, what happened. And so Spencer told him that he was being bullied by a kid and he told the kid to leave him alone. So he, two-pieced him, right? And Lewis was telling him next time walk away, but then told him in the same breath, sometimes, you did what we as men have to do sometimes. I was like, so Lewis, which one is it? Which one is it? Which, if he was being bullied, I wouldn't have had a problem with him binking, somebody. Mink, 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 mink. Like, I wouldn't have no problem with that. Now, we move back over to the interview. So Tanya, she questioned Chanel about staying with JT. And Chanel was like, so you've never stayed with someone longer than you probably should have? So then Tanya went on to play the 911 call, and Jax was like, oh, hell no. So Jax went and cut the interview. So we see Daniel. So Daniel was watching Adrian leave a bank. And Daniel was like, he had a deposit receipt in his hand, and Daniel was like, okay, yeah, go ahead and throw it in the trash for me. Like, don't keep it. So he ripped it up and he threw it in the trash can. So Daniel went and got the deposit receipt, right? So then we see Jax. So Jax is talking to Chanel, and she's telling Chanel like, hey, you don't have to go back in there. And Chanel told Jax like, I did remember the good parts, but she's not really sure how good the good parts really were when it comes to JT. And she said, she feels like Tanya was right that she should have been strong enough to lead. And Jax was like, no. And then Jax was talking about the situation that she had, right? And Jax said that, Jax said to her, oh, she was talking about she should have left, right? And Jax was like, well, JT came back early. And she was like, no, I should have left when the abuse first started. And Jax told her, Tanya is wrong, which I agree with that, right? You can't sit, and that's the thing when it comes to abuse victims. You can't sit there and tell somebody when they should have left. I mean, most of us will be like, the first time a man or a woman hits me, then I'm out. But some people, it's not that easy for them, right? So I agree with Jax, right? So Tanya, she and Corey are going back and forth with each other about the interview. And Jax came back, Jax and Chanel came back, right? So then Tanya is talking to her about the good things that JT has done, right? He's put some black kids through HBCUs, and Chanel was like, Bill Cosby did something, did good in the community too. And she's like, are you comparing the two? She's like, no, I'm not comparing the two. But she said he was a master and he taught me to be his student. I was like, come on, Chanel. If anything Chanel has done in this, I will say she's won me over. So then we moved 3 months before JT's, and it says JT's murder. I was like, oh, y'all tried it? So we see Adrian giving an uplifting speech about JT, right? And we see Chanel dip off to the bathroom, and Adrian came in and they got it in, right? And so he asked her when she was leaving, and she said soon. So then we later see Chanel in bed with a shiner, right? And JT is in the bed. He apologizes to her for putting his hands on her. I was like, oh, classic signs of abuse, right? But he was in pain and wanted her to help him. I was like, you got your motherfucking nerve. I would have, ooh, ain't no way in hell, girlfriend. No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. Ain't no way. So he tells her the reason that he hit her is because she disappeared and he thought that she was leaving him. And then he goes sit there and tell her nobody will ever love her the way he do. Oh, I am so glad that JT is no longer amongst the living after watching this episode because baby, piece of shit he is, right? So then Tanya asked her about what they were fighting about the night that JT, died, right? And then she goes one step further because at one point in the episode, someone came up to her assistant came up to her with something, right? So she wants to know, why at this particular time did you choose to leave and also choose to defend yourself, right? And I mean, you could attest that to she finally got the strength and the courage to get up and leave. So then she asked her, was it about the pregnancy? And because he was, cheating with a woman and he paid for the abortion. Then she said the woman's name Tony. So Chanel told her, "We're done." And the speech that Chanel gave to her was very riveting, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing what Chanel said to her. Um, but yeah, if anything, Chanel definitely won me over. I don't know about y'all, but she definitely 100% won me over in this episode, and that speech won me over. Um, so after that, we see Corey. He told Tanya that the pregnancy thing was a low blow, which I agree with her, right? And she's like, my assistant just came to me with that information, and it ain't like I was going to hold on to it and not use it. So Jess came up to her and she was like, "Girl, I've already had the same conversation with him about the pregnancy thing." So Jack said, "Where did you get that information?" She said, "Asked and received." I was like, "Excuse you?" Okay. So after that, after she left, Jax asked him, like, "How long you been fucking her?" And he had a look on his face. She said, "Really, nigga?" And so then we see Spencer. So Spencer lied to Lewis about the fight, and Lewis overheard it. So what happened is the kid that he fought said that men who on Broadway are gay. So Spencer got offended by that, and like I said, Lewis overheard it. And so Lewis is having a conversation with Spencer, and ultimately Spencer hit the boy because of the things that Lewis had said to him, not really what the kid said, because he wasn't even seeing the boy, he was just seeing his dad. So after that, we see Jack, so called her therapist. So her therapist is thinking she wants some more meds, but she said no, she wants something more long term. And I was like, what that mean, Jax? So when Jax got home from doing all this stuff with Chanel, he told her about Spencer getting suspended. Lewis was beating himself up because of the way his dad was, and Jax was able to comfort him in that moment and tell him he's not like his dad. And so then he asked about Chanel, and she said, she's as good as she's good, and it went great. So now they just have to wait and see if it moved the needle. So then she told him about Tony getting knocked up by JT, and that JT paid for an abortion with a personal check that he signed, but Tony did not get an abortion because she found out from some of the parents that Tony is still pregnant and showing. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I know you shitting bricks because Tony is pregnant and he banged Tony, and I doubt he used a condom when he was having sex with Tony. Oh my God. So then Daniel came over with information on who Adrian went to see. So the guy's name is Evan, and he was JT's business manager, right? So we found out that Adrian put $10 million into an account, and JT's name is linked to the company that the house is under the deeds. JT is the trustee, and Jax was like, and when did this happen? He was like 2 days before he died. I was like, so was this planned? So then the end of the episode, you guys, let me know what you guys think. So we see Chanel. Chanel is in her cell, and Chanel is thinking back to the night with JT. So she told JT she was leaving, and he said, "You'll leave with nothing." And she's like, "That's fine." She said, "But I will take the girls and leave." Right. So he threw her up against everything. And so he was on top of her, choking her out. And then he got clocked in the back of the head. So my guess is Adrian is the one that clocked him in the back of the head. And Jax is wondering if Chanel is protecting someone. And I was like, it's all making, no. Girl, don't protect that man. If it is Adrian you protecting, girl, throw that nigga under the bus. Throw that nigga to the wind. Absolutely not. That is the episode, you guys. Please let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video. And until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.